Right back on the raising horse again after getting shoved on. So we get flattered here by chorizo. I mean, we've got a flush draw, with the three of diamonds, but that's not the something that we're really looking to play for value here. Pretty much as a bluff. We see bet. I mean, I personally, now looking back on it, don't really like this because against this particular opponent, he's not going to be folding very much. We've seen how he's been playing. He's not the type to sort of just give up on the flop. Seems like quite a stubborn opponent. So, now in my eyes, I think that this is we should almost be check folding, maybe even check raising, trying something different against him because I don't think this c bet's going to work a lot of the time versus him. Yeah, and I've pretty much just given up this pot after checking there. He could easily just have a jack. I mean, he could be floating. He could be doing all sorts of things here. So I'll just give up the hand. And from where he was, he's now the chip leader. So wow, and a big flip here. Pocket tens, pretty standard shove by him. Ace jack, standard call. So a bit of a cooler here for both the guys. Chorizo gets there with a jack. Wow, but he gets there on the 10 on the river. So the Saluki now with the chip lead. So the chip lead just swinging around, between all of us here. Looks like it. Same spot here, Queen. I don't like flatting here. I mean, yes, we have a playable hand, but this guy, he's just over 20 bigs. So I like to again make this as a sort of a three bet fold spot. If he does somehow call us now after we three bet, we have a good playable hand, and we've got control of the pot as well. And plus, we did this to him last time as well, if you remember, with the same hand, same spot. Does he have the sort of the balls to almost do it again, just cram it down our throat? This time he folds. So I mean, I do like that. I was reading an article by, I think it was in Bluff Magazine. It was one written by AJK Hoosier, who's I think one of the best and most successful online players ever. Alex Camberis, I think his name is. He was talking about infliction points and situations where, like, if two guys have played a massive pot, like if stand up flush and chorizo have played a massive pot, then most of the time they're not going to want to play another massive pot the very next hand. So you can almost raise any two, into them. And situations like this as well, where some guy, the same spots appeared again, and you three bet, he shoves it down your throat. If that spot appears again, then why not try again? Because he could easily just fold here. He doesn't have to have it every time for sure. So I think this is one of those spots here, and it did work, which is very nice for us. Three betting him again here would look very, very strong, and he'd probably be shoving a wide range. He'd probably getting fed up of me three betting him so much. Um, yeah, I like this open. He's got under 25 bigs now at this point, so he can't really sort of mess around too much. So 2.5x here, 2.4x I think is fine, small blind to big blind. But him being chorizo decides to flat. We flop bottom pair and the dummy end of the straight, a gut shot straight. Seven, is probably well, most of the time won't be good here. He decides to raise. He could easily be doing this with a jack or just a seven himself. Shoving did cross my mind here for sure, because he doesn't actually have to have a made hand here at all. But his sizing is just a bit big here, 48k. And again, you know, same reasons as before. He does play in a very unorthodox manner. Um, and you know what? I just decided to just give him credit here and just give up the pot. We might have followed the best hand there, but I mean, I'm looking back on this. Maybe if I'm just c-betting here and then he's raising into me, I'm almost turning my hand into a bluff here. And I might very well have the best hand, so maybe check call might have been a better line here. But you know, we might be faced with um, difficult decisions on later streets as well if our hand doesn't improve. Um, you know, I can't really see a turn that's really going to help us at all. So if, you know, if that's the case, then perhaps folding pre might have been the best line. So we just let that one go. Everyone is very even at this point. Saluki, Chorizo, and myself. Very, very even. Stand-up flush just a bit behind us. Ace-3 looks like an open. It's ramping up the aggression here. I like it. All in and a call. So stand-up flush, again, min raises just under 20 bigs. Chorizo this time decides to 3-bet. And he gets the 4-bet shove from jacks. And the jacks win a big pot there. Chorizo now down to 93k. So he's now clearly the short stack. Things haven't really gone his way, but obviously we're not complaining about that. Pocket tens is an open. He decides to 3x now onto the gun. He's got just over 10 bigs. We have a weak ace. He could be doing this very, very wide for sure, so we could put him in. But I decided to, we can never flat here. I mean, it's either all in or fold. I didn't like this spot here with ace 3. He's got just a bit too many. If he had about 50k maybe or 60k, I might just stick him in here with the ace, just because he's got a little bit too much. And a bit concerning that he just raised as opposed to shoving here. You know, as I said, he does things a bit differently. So, I mean, this doesn't necessarily mean he has to have a monster, but for sure it could just be a steal with like Jack 10 or something, which he just doesn't want to shove, but just wait for a better spot to get all his chips. Open the Jack 8, seems fine. If you notice, stand-up flush hasn't really defended much to us at all, or hasn't 3-bet or really done anything to us when he's on the blind, so these two are definitely playing much more tighter when I'm opening the pot. Potentially just looking at Chorizo's stack and thinking, you know, don't really want to get involved in a massive hand here. Stand-up flush tries to jam here. It's interesting that he decided to do that. You know, if I woke up with a hand, then he would be in a bit of trouble. So it's interesting that he didn't decide to just 3-bet, get it in against Chorizo if he really had a massive hand. Let's fold the 7 deuce here. I mean, we're shoving or folding against his stack. Was it what it is now? Can't really do that with 7 deuce. Open up the 4-5. We've been very profitable so far from that position there on the button. They haven't really played back us much. Pocket sixes. In this spot, wow, stand-up flush decides to shove. If it had folded to us, I would have definitely shoved it down his throat. He called off pretty light there. Interesting call with raise calling king jack. He runs into pocket jacks. And that's the end of Chorizo. on our left, which is very good for us because you know he was a thorn in our side, played a bit differently. But we are now three-handed. Very next hand, we get all in and a call here. Calls off with ace-10, flops the ace, but Saluki gets there on the turn and river, run and run a flush. So he's now the chip leader. We were one card there away from being heads up, but I guess it wasn't to be. Open up 9-3. Pretty much opening any two as we have been, and, you know, in these late stages here. Pocket queens. And sadly, we don't get any action there. We loved it. 6-7. Stand-up flushes stack seems to be going downward in a downward spiral here, which we like to see. Just keeping the pressure on his big blind. Just give a walk here to the Saluki. You know, we've raised him quite a few times here in this position, so just give a walk. Again, same thing, keeping up the pressure on both of these guys. I mean, more so on stand-up because his stack's going down. Saluki can afford to wait a little bit. He does decide to 3-bet this time, and then gets it through. Nothing going on as of yet. So we get King Jack suited here in the big blind. Stand-up flushes on 20 bigs. Folding is not an option here, three-handed. So it's really a case of, are we sort of 3-bet inducing to make him put it in with worse? I quite like jamming on him here. It does look a bit weaker. He's got 20 bigs. And he could be opening anything. I do jam, which I like. I don't really want a flat here. He's getting short. There's not really much post-flop play here with his effective stack, so I think sticking it in here is definitely the best option. He could be raising absolutely anything here. I mean, he's been on the tight side for sure. But three-handed, you know, I can't see myself folding King Jack suited here, and I do go ahead and shove. Take it down. And open Saluki's big blind as well, with the queen high. 6-10 seems like a raise to us. And a 3-bet here. I like how I've really upped the aggression here. I've won, how many hands is that in a row? 1, 2, 3, 4 hands now. Would have gone for the 5th there, but he decides to shove on us. Oh, sorry, I didn't actually show what he did. I just kind of assumed that we won it. He did fold to the 3-bet, and he hadn't really been calling any 3-bets or 4-betting that much for what it's worth as well. So picked up there's a nice little rush there. 8-3 suited seems like a raise. And we've really taken the chip lead by storm here now, you know, really just sort of up the aggression. This is close. I mean, it would have been close had... Well, actually, no, let me take that back. Saluki raises. Had he folded, if this guy had shoved, I think I probably would have called here with pocket fours. Or had he just min-raised, it's obviously sticking in against him. I probably would have just defended against Saluki had stand-up flush folded. But they get it in, and he was very light here with King 6 of diamonds. Saluki calls off with ace 10. He binks the 10 on the turn after getting... Well, that's a massive flop for stand-up flush there, but unfortunately for him, that's the end of his tournament, and we are now heads up. So next part will be